Imagine a child, 4 or 5 years old. Something happened, a small hurt, a big fear, a moment that felt too large for their small body to hold. They cried, loudly at first, then quieter still. Nobody came. Eventually, the crying stopped on its own. Not because the feeling went away, but because the child learned something that day, without anyone teaching them. Nobody's coming. I have to do this by myself. That moment, repeated enough times, in enough small ways, is how a person becomes an adult who cannot fully receive comfort, who shuts down instead of reaching out, who suffers in silence and calls it strength. There's a name for what should have happened in that room. It's called co-regulation. And when it doesn't happen, when the comfort never comes, a child learns to survive their emotions alone. That learning doesn't disappear. It becomes the invisible operating system running your adult life. Today we're breaking down 8 behaviors that begin in that childhood absence and continue quietly for decades. Before we get into the signs, you need to understand what was missing. When a child feels a big emotion, fear, sadness, overwhelm, their nervous system doesn't yet know how to come down from it on its own. That capacity has to be built, and it gets built through connection. A calm caregiver picks up the crying child, steadies their voice, names what's happening. You're okay. That was scary. I'm here. The child's nervous system syncs biologically with the adult's. The adult's calm becomes the child's calm. Over thousands of these moments, across years of childhood, the child's nervous system learns how to regulate itself. That's co-regulation. Regulation learned through another person's presence. But when that presence isn't reliably available, when big emotions are met with irritation, silence, or absence, the child still has to survive the feeling somehow. So they develop their own methods, shutting down, going quiet, disappearing internally, making the emotion small enough to handle alone. And here's the truth that anchors everything else in this video. Children don't become self-soothing because they're strong. They become self-soothing because they had to. Let's look at what that actually looks like in adult life. Sign 1, you shut down when you're hurt. When you were a child and something hurt you, no one came. The big emotion had nowhere to go, no adult to help you make sense of it. So you did the only thing available. You made it disappear internally. You learned to swallow it, to go blank, to let the feeling pass through you without doing anything with it. Now, as an adult, that same response activates automatically in conflict. Someone says something that lands hard, and instead of speaking, you go quiet. Your face goes still. Your voice disappears. People ask what's wrong and you say nothing. Not because you're being difficult, because you genuinely cannot access it in that moment. You're not being cold. You're not shutting them out on purpose. You're doing what you were forced to learn when there was nobody there to help you feel it out loud. This isn't coldness. It's a nervous system that learned silence was safer than expression, and that same silence extends to something even more physical. Sign 2. You hide your tears. Somewhere in your childhood, crying became a problem. Maybe it was met with irritation. Stop crying. Maybe it was dismissed. You're fine. Maybe it was met with worse. Anger, mockery, or the terrible silence of a parent simply walking away. Whatever the response, you learned that tears were unwelcome. That crying was something to be handled elsewhere, alone, quietly. Now, as an adult, you can feel the tears rising, and something automatic kicks in to push them back down. You cry in cars, in bathrooms, after everyone else has gone to sleep, but not in front of people. And if tears do escape in company, you apologize for them. Wipe them away quickly. Try to move past the moment before anyone can respond to it. Because deep down, part of you is still waiting for the old response. This isn't being closed off. It's a child who learned that tears had to be handled in private. And when emotions couldn't come out through tears, the body found another way. Sign 3. Stress changes. The way you eat. When you were dysregulated as a child, nobody helped you come back down. Your nervous system stayed activated, and your body, which needed something to help it regulate, found the first available substitute. For some kids, that was food. Eating became soothing because nothing else was. For others, the opposite happened. The activation shut down appetite entirely. Food felt impossible during hard moments. Either way, a pattern got wired in. Your relationship with eating became your relationship with unmanaged emotion. Now, as an adult, you notice it. During stressful weeks, you eat things you don't want. Or you don't eat at all. When something painful happens, food becomes either the comfort or the casualty. And the moment life gets hard, the pattern activates without you choosing it. This isn't lack of willpower. It's a body still trying to soothe itself through the only channel that ever worked. And beyond food, there's something even more telling about where you feel safest. Sign 4. You feel safest alone. Here's something worth pausing on for a moment. When was the last time being around people felt like actual rest? For most people who grew up without co-regulation, the honest answer is rarely. Because as a child, being around people meant work, reading the room, managing someone else's mood, anticipating the next shift in emotional temperature. Being alone was the only time your nervous system got to fully stand down. That equation didn't change when you grew up. Solitude still feels like the place where you finally get to breathe. You crave time alone after every social event. You feel most like yourself when nobody's watching. You prefer being alone over being with people you love, not because you don't love them back, but because your body still associates alone with safe. This isn't antisocial. It's a nervous system that only fully rests when it doesn't have to monitor anyone else. And in all that solitude, something else developed, something quieter. Quick pause here. If any of these first 4 signs have felt uncomfortably familiar, drop the number in the comments, just the one that hit you hardest. This channel, UNFELT, exists for people exactly like you. People who are finally finding language for what they've been carrying for years. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, 4 more signs. Let's keep going. Sign 5, you talk yourself through everything. Nobody talked you through your feelings when you were small. Nobody said, I know that felt scary. Let's think about it together. Nobody helped you make sense of what was happening inside you. So, you started doing it yourself, internally, silently. You became your own narrator. Now, as an adult, there's a constant inner monologue running. You process problems in your head instead of talking them out with someone. You talk yourself down from anxiety through internal conversation. You explain things to yourself, comfort yourself, coach yourself through moments that other people would work through with a friend. This looks like independence. Sometimes it looks like overthinking, but it's neither. This is the internal parent you had to become, because no external one showed up consistently enough. And when an external person does show up, when someone tries to offer what was missing, the next sign takes over immediately. Sign 6, comfort makes you uncomfortable. When comfort was rare or inconsistent in childhood, when hugs came with tension or affection came with strings, or kindness was followed by criticism, your nervous system never learned to receive care without suspicion. So now, when someone tries to comfort you as an adult, something strange happens. You tense when they hug you. You deflect the compliment. You don't know what to do with genuine kindness when it arrives. You almost want to escape the moment, even when the moment is exactly what you needed, because unfamiliar softness is harder to trust than familiar hardness. The old, painful patterns are known. Your nervous system understands how to survive them. But warmth without agenda, care without conditions, that's foreign territory. And foreign territory activates alertness, even when the territory is safe. This isn't ingratitude. It's a nervous system that learned early that unearned comfort was rarely what it appeared to be. So instead of receiving care, you learn to give it, constantly, to everyone. Sign 7, you're everyone's therapist. You know everyone's story, their childhood, their heartbreaks, their patterns, their fears. Friends come to you when things fall apart. People trust you with things they haven't told anyone else. And when someone asks about you, you deflect. You give the shortest possible version. You turn the conversation back to them within 30 seconds. You've built your relationships on being the one who holds space, rarely the one who takes it up. This started somewhere specific. As a child, you learned that being useful to other people's emotions was how you stayed connected. Maybe you comforted a struggling parent. Maybe you became the peacemaker in a chaotic home. Maybe you noticed early that your value went up when you were helpful and went down when you had needs of your own. So you became indispensable, emotionally available for everyone, except yourself. This isn't just empathy. It's the role you took because it was the only way you knew to earn love. And underneath all of it, underneath the helpfulness, the self-sufficiency, the composure, there is one final sign that holds everything else together. Sign 8. You suffer in silence. This one might be the most painful. When you were a child and something was wrong, expressing it either made things worse or brought no response at all. So you stopped expressing it. You learned that saying "I'm not okay" didn't bring help. It brought silence, or annoyance, or a lecture about why you were fine. So the sentence stopped forming. The words got locked inside. Now, as an adult, you carry hard things without telling anyone. You minimize what you're going through, even to yourself. You reach a breaking point, and only then do the people closest to you realize something was ever wrong. And even then, when they ask why you didn't say something sooner, you don't have a real answer, because the answer is buried too deep. It goes back to a child who learned, in a dozen small moments, that speaking about pain didn't bring relief. It just added a new problem on top of the old one. This isn't strength. It's what a child does when they've learned that words don't work. Now step back for a moment. Look at all 8 of these together. The shutdown, the hidden tears, the stress eating, the safety and solitude, the internal narration, the discomfort with comfort, the therapist role, the silent suffering. These aren't 8 different problems. They're the same pattern, expressed in 8 different directions. The pattern of a child who had to comfort themselves, alone, repeatedly, consistently, in moments where another human being should have been there, and wasn't. Every single one of these behaviors is a survival adaptation, a creative, intelligent, resourceful answer to a caregiver's absence. You didn't become this way because something is wrong with you. You became this way because you were a child, and your nervous system did exactly what nervous systems are designed to do. It adapted to what it was given. These aren't personality flaws, they aren't weakness, they aren't damage, they aren't proof that you're broken. They are the intelligent responses of a nervous system that grew up in an environment where another person's calm wasn't reliably available. So, it built its own methods, its own rules, its own private ways of surviving big emotions. And here's what deserves to be said out loud. That was extraordinary work for a child. You figured out how to regulate yourself before anyone showed you how. You built emotional survival skills before you had the vocabulary for what you were building. You carried yourself through moments that should never have been yours to carry alone. The habits that remain are evidence of what you accomplished, not evidence of what's wrong with you. Here's what healing actually looks like. It's not learning to stop self-soothing. Self-soothing isn't the problem. It's a real, valuable skill. It's what got you here. The problem is believing that self-soothing is the only way to feel safe, because there is another way. There has always been another way. The way that was supposed to be available from the beginning. Regulation through connection. Comfort received from another human being. Healing means slowly, carefully, over time, letting one safe person do what someone should have done a long time ago. Not all at once, not by forcing yourself to be vulnerable overnight. Just one small moment at a time, one tear that doesn't get hidden, one hard thing that gets shared instead of swallowed, one hug you let yourself sink into instead of simply tolerate. Each of those moments is your nervous system learning something new. That comfort can come from outside. That connection can be safe. That you don't have to do this alone anymore. You've been figuring this out alone for a long time, carrying things that were never meant to be carried alone, regulating in private, surviving in silence, building emotional infrastructure from scratch, as a child, because nobody handed you the tools. That was the old way, not because you chose it, because it was the only way available. But you're here now, reading the map, finally seeing the terrain for what it actually is, And that, quietly, without fanfare, is where something new begins. Before you go, out of these 8 signs, which one felt the most personal? Drop the number in the comments, 1 through 8, because naming what's been quietly running your life is the first real step toward changing it. And if this video gave language to something you've carried for a long time, subscribe to UNFELT. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a video.